Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of notanalog.com. Today I am looking at a device which is from Nokia, but it doesn't run Symbian. We can all breathe a bit of fresh air. It is not running Windows Phone 7 either, sorry if you're hoping it was. It's not, it's running MeeGo, and it's the Nokia N9. Now, don't be too disappointed. This is a huge improvement over Symbian. Symbian was a complete disappointment. If you looked at previous videos, I think one of my quotes was that Symbian is what makes the Nokia biscuit taste bad. Interesting quote. Moving on. So the Nokia N9, which we're looking at today, it's just to give you a rundown of the hardware before we get into the actual phone itself. Pretty thin. You can see it sort of tapers in at the edges at about 7mm. In the middle it's about 12. I think it's 12.1, but let's not get too crazy about it. It's not that heavy. It only weighs around 135 grams, so it's not too bad to hold. It's quite comfortable. It's very smooth, so it's really, really sleek. So it does come with a leather, like not a leather case, like a rubber case, so it doesn't fall out of your hand very easily, which is really handy. And it also just protects the phone from scratches. Speaking of which, Gorilla Glass on the front, so you're not going to completely destroy the phone if you drop it. Hopefully. Looking at it from the top, you've actually got a slot here for the micro SIM. I guess this is the way we think that things are going to go. We're just going to move to micro SIMs. For me it was just a bit difficult because I don't have a phone which handles a micro SIM right now, so I had to get it transferred, but not a big deal. I like to do that because I actually get to use the phone and actually tell you how it really is. So there's another slot here which is very hidden, but if I push this button, out plops this door, and that's the charging port, you know, your micro USB slot, which is also used for transferring data and things like that, so it's your one-stop shop. This little door is scary. Every time I opened it to charge I was so nervous, and when you are charging it the door's wide open, so I don't know, I'm just so scared it's going to break, but so far so good. I like the idea that it keeps it silky smooth from the top, not a huge issue. 3.5mm jack. The other side, volume rocker, power button. At the bottom, looks like a little speaker grill, probably microphone, sound out and stuff like that. And there's nothing on this side. The back of the phone, 8-megapixel camera. Nokia cameras, let's just face it, they're always good. I think they've always had really, really good hardware. They've always had a quality build phone. Doesn't matter how far back you go. I mean, my first phone was a 5110. It was a hell of a lot bigger than this, had plenty more buttons, but it was just so solid and it just lasted forever. The dual LED flash, the camera shoots 720p video. You know, we're not talking about crappy cameras anymore. These are doing the biz, so no problems there at all. The actual front, there's no buttons, but there is a little camera. There's a little camera here that will not get used until the latest software update, I've been told. So keep in mind it's coming, so I guess you'll be able to use things like Skype and stuff like that with the front-facing camera at a later date. You might be a little bit concerned that it is running MeeGo and not Windows Phone 7. You know, it's the one and only. You know, what's going to happen? Rest assured, Nokia has promised to support this up to and including 2015 and probably beyond. That's a huge relief, because when I first looked at it I thought, why would you bother? Because you're not going to get any support from Nokia, it's just going to be a dead in the water once they move to Windows. Well, it's not. And I'm going to take you through it because I think it's something worth looking at. This still may be the phone for you. Don't be completely disappointed just yet. Watch this. Alright, so this is the Nokia N9, just getting a bit of a closer look here. I like to flip around, show you what it all looks like up close. You can see some of the fingerprints, apologies for that, but that's just what it looks like after some use. So straight up, before I even turn anything on, the time, and you can see I've got a notification, looks like a U-turn, but when I turn it on I can see that that's what the notification is. So I haven't actually even unlocked the phone yet, but it's telling me what it is. So at a quick glance I know that I've missed 2 calls, I know the time, I know how much battery, what the reception is like, and I can see it doesn't give you that much time, but I can see there's also a flag for notification. Bluetooth is on. So no buttons. How do you unlock it? You can swipe from the side, you can swipe from the bottom, whatever you like. You just got to push the window out of the way. So a lot of the movements in this phone are done from the edges, so from edge up, edge down, and so on. And I'll run through those now as well. So let's say, for example, I go into the phone section. I can see what's going on here. I can flick sideways. So what that actually does is it takes me back to this screen. However, if I want to get back to it, I move that screen over and I can see all the recent apps that I have pushed over into multitasking. So there's the contacts that I had open before, the phone app, sorry. And if I scroll down, I can see all the other apps that I've got open. So going back into it, if I push down, it's closed. So it's actually gone now. So going back into here, you can see that swiping left or right or even top bottom up will multitask the app. If you go down, it's like get out of here, you know what I mean? So you have the multitasking window. If I swipe over again, you've got your notifications. So in here I've got, you know, the date and time. I've also got AccuWeather, which is probably updating at the moment, and that obviously gives me the weather of where I am. And I've also got this this feed in here which integrates my Facebook and Twitter feed, and it's quite good. It's almost the way that I have been accessing everything completely. Now if I want to respond to something, you know, I can just click on it. It takes me into the Twitter app, so I can actually do whatever I like there. Slide across. You know, this is actually quite an easy to navigate phone. It is a little odd at the start, you know, no buttons. How do I actually use this? But it's actually not too bad. So let's have a quick browse around. You'll see the icons really similar if you've ever used any other smartphone. You know, simple icon layout. You know, going into your contacts, it brings in Twitter and Facebook profile pictures as well. You can see some of them got pictures. I don't have all of my contacts connected on Facebook and other social networks, so that's what that part is. Let's push that over. Simple search. The browser is actually not too bad. Completely simple. You know, turn it sideways. Simple stuff. One thing I'm going to say right now is this. I turned it left and it was fine. I put it upright, no problem. I turn it this way, no difference. So the phone can't turn right. So if you've ever wondered, it's interesting, it won't turn right. I don't know why that is, but I guess they just did it for whatever reason, and it's probably a good reason. So anyway, let's shut that app down. Boom, it's gone. Slide across again. So the web browser is quite good. It doesn't support Flash, but it supports HTML5, which, you know what, that's where things are going. So I'll go into messages. Let me just show you something here. So again, in my contacts, the keyboard isn't actually too bad to use. You can turn it sideways. Boom. And it's actually quite simple to use then. You know, with all your number layout, different alternate keyboards, a whole lot of foreign keys as well. You know, it's pretty straightforward to use. If you've ever used a touch keyboard, I actually don't feel too bad using it. It's quite good. I don't want to send a message right now. Get out. So you get used to the whole touchscreen thing. It did take a couple of days, but now that I've done it, I'm kind of happy with it. When I go into mail, you can see my 2 accounts which I've got set up there. Again, fairly straightforward. I'm going to skip to the accounts section so I can show you where I did all of that as well. I go into accounts, so you can see all the accounts I've got connected. You know, Facebook, my Google, my Exchange account, a Nokia account, Picasa for photo albums, Skype, and Twitter as well. Adding accounts is simple. You have so many to choose from, and it's very easy, very simple. One thing I'm going to say about Skype, awesome, yes, you can do chat. Can't do video calling because that's not working yet, but hopefully when it does, that'll be supported. Same thing with Google Talk. So you can see here my availability. I'm actually able to sign into Facebook Chat, Google Talk, and Skype all from one hit. The only issue is that, you know, yes, it's only chat. So it's useful, I guess, but it's just not that useful. Once this becomes enabled, it'll be just a huge relief, I think. So I'm waiting for that. I'm going to go in the gallery. Now, in the gallery, it's interesting. I've set up my Picasa account. It's connected. So that's fine. However, my Picasa images aren't here. And if I go into collection or anywhere, they're just not there. So it only shows you images that are actually on the phone. You can upload pictures to Picasa. So if I go into one of the images that I have taken with this phone and click here and share, the share options are a little bit limited, and you'll see the list now. So I can put up to Facebook and I can put up to Picasa, which is great for backing up images, I understand that. But I would like to see it work both ways, that any images I had on Picasa will synchronize on the phone as well. Not yet. Twitter is missing. I can't actually share an image to Twitter, and even from within the Twitter app you can't share either, so that's a little disappointing. But you know, hopefully there'll be some apps that come out, different Twitter clients, which will actually work within this. But you know, emailing, MMS, share it on Bluetooth, actually share through NFC as well, which this device has, and Facebook. So you've got your basic things, and most people won't be bothered by it. For me, it's just a pet thing. So I have taken this photo. I took some night shots as well. This is the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I tried it in a few different modes, and this one probably came out the best, so quite a good night capture as well. I'm pretty happy with it. I took this one as well. Now the camera probably doesn't do it justice, but the lighting conditions are not good for taking photos, and it just handled that part really well, which brings me back, you know, the Nokia cameras are just great. I never have issues with Nokia cameras. I'm always a fan. Simple things that you can do, set them as wallpaper, you know, edit and things like that. So I like the way they've done the images. It's fast, it's quick to go through these as well. It just flies through it. And obviously these images are from an SLR camera that I've copied on there, and no matter what I do with it, it just breezes through the images completely fine. So yeah, no issues there at all. So let's go over videos. As you'd expect, it plays most video types as well, and the quality is very good, and the sound is actually very good as well. So I'm not going to go through a whole lot of it. I mean, it's a video. You can obviously trial that in store as well when you get a chance. Get out. Okay, so Nokia Maps. If you've ever used Nokia Maps before, it's fantastic. It's free worldwide maps. You just have to download the maps before you go to another country, and bang, you can chuck this in the car and go wherever you want, walking, driving, whatever you need to do. The Drive app, you know, ties in with Nokia Maps. It helps you actually drive and use the phone in a safe manner, hopefully, but make sure you use it in a safe manner. The music section, nothing too surprising. It's just a nice little layout though. You know, when I go into songs, I can see my song list. I have put on some songs on here. If I go into one of them, I can see my album art, which I love. You know, I can skip through. And the speaker built in on this is actually very loud, but no issues at all. As an MP3 player, does a fine job. You know, no problems at all. So let's go back. Also, there's Ovi Music, so you can actually, there's a music store which you can connect into, buy music, and the whole lot. So I didn't actually want to go into it yet though. Okay, let's go straight back. As you saw, Ovi Music, pretty cheap tracks, you know, $1.69 and so on for a single. That's not too bad. The store as well for apps. I was actually kind of surprised to see the amount of apps in the App Store. It's pretty good. You know, the common apps that you're used to seeing on Android or iPhone, it is there. There's obviously not going to be as many. If anything, I actually think there might be more apps than there is in the BlackBerry store, but I'm not going to guarantee that. I'm not sure exactly, but just from going through, there's some pretty decent apps, and these are just the featured ones. But you know, when I went into the even just like the all applications, you can see it's actually quite quick to use the App Store as well. You know, the top three, they're not bad. You know, like the photo enhancer, you know, world clocks. It's stuff you're used to seeing. You know, it's nothing. Oh, battery's low. I'll get to that in a second. You know, it's pretty common. I don't think that we've lost out a lot by, oh, it's just the one OS and stuff like that. So your Facebook, it's as you'd expect. It's fully featured. You know, like, comment, chat, it's all still there. Twitter, same thing except for the photo sharing. I don't understand that. Calculated documents, edit, open documents, RSS feeds, of course, take some notes, AccuWeather, basic, Wi-Fi hotspot, of course, AP Mobile, these are added apps, YouTube, Skype works except not for video calling, missing this here. Angry Birds, obviously. You know, Need for Speed Shift, these come preloaded, and they work surprisingly well. You know, driving the car around and stuff like that, no problems. I added this camera app just to see some extra features. It's not too bad. So that's really the rundown of the phone in a quick way. The biggest highlights here is the multitasking. So you can see I've got a lot open. If I wanted to close, I can close all apps. Boom, all done. And I think it's a good idea to do that every now and then because it does kind of kill the battery. So I've got 2 email accounts here, my Facebook and Twitter, and look at this. It is 6 p.m. in the day, and I'm needing a charge. It really needs to be charged. I haven't used it much for calls. Yeah, the battery life does take a bit of a hit on this phone, but in saying that, it's got its pros, but it's definitely got its cons as well. And let's close up this review in a second. Okay, so you've had a look at the Nokia N9. What did you think? I want you to tell me what you think. I'm really up and down about it. I know there are certain things on the phone that I like, but there's certain things on the phone that I really am disappointed by. And if anything, they're only small things. However, because I'm so used to them being as standard on most phones, it does tend to become extremely frustrating. Now, they have said that there are going to be updates coming. This is not exactly how it's going to be forever. It will get updated. The question is whether you want to commit to a phone which isn't going to be around forever. It has been replaced pretty much already. At the time that I'm filming this review, Nokia has already revealed their Windows phones. Their Windows phones look identical on the outside, look identical in hardware to this phone. So the problem will be is, do you wait until the Windows phones come out, or do you just get this one? Now, if you get this one, if you're a basic user, it's going to be fine. It's going to be completely fine. If you're an app freak and you really want your apps and you're passionate about your apps, it will be interesting to see whether you make that decision, because if I'm a developer and I'm developing apps, do I want to focus on Android, which is huge? Do I want to focus on Apple, which is probably even bigger? Or do I want to focus on MeeGo, which exists on one phone? That's going to be the hardest decision for most people. However, I think in a lot of ways, I think that if Nokia picked this instead of Windows Phone and they just were going to keep working on it, I would say that this is a fantastic start, because there's so much more that it can do, and it's got legs. But the fact that it's almost, some are calling it dead on arrival, it's like warning signs, and bells are ringing. I almost want to tell you to hold out until the Windows phones come, but no one can in most situations. Their contract's over or something like that. So what do? I mean, you tell me. I'm not making a shift to a Nokia N9. That's where I'm at. But in saying that, it's not a bad phone. The hardware is good. The concepts are great. It just needs a few more updates, and it will get there. I would almost like to review this phone in a year when it has received some update packages as well, and come back at you and tell you, yes, it's fantastic now, or whatever. But let's just wait and see. Come back at me, ask me any questions you've got. I've got it here. If I don't have it, I will ask someone who has. Let's talk soon. Thank you for watching. Twitter, Facebook, I'm everywhere. Even just comment below. I'm going to do the whole YouTube thing. Comment below, subscribe, and speak to me soon, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.